Okay, Jackie, tell the version you remember.
About which one?
What are you telling,
You
Dan?
pick one.
The bathroom story a long time ago going to.
When
porta
that guy
potty?
came in on
Yeah.
Kim, don't miss
my
this.
van broke down.
Yeah.
We were going to the zoo,
Yeah.
and the van broke down. And so it was Zena Littleton and her kids and me and Mike Mike. And we all went in this little guy's house, and he was getting ready to go to the prom. So we said, well, could I just call my husband and wait until somebody comes? He said, sure. He was real nice, you know. So he comes, he goes off, he said, y'all excuse me, just make yourself at home. I'm just going to go get ready for the prom, and then I'll be back. So I looked at Zena, I said, I've got to use the bathroom. And she said, well, I see bathroom right here. You can use that one. I said, okay.
So that wasn't what
So
you were
I-
in his house for?
No.
To go to the
No,
bathroom?
my car was broke down.
Oh, okay.
And so
Got it.
I went in the bathroom to use it, and I closed the door, and there was no latch on it. You couldn't lock it. So I went back out, and I said, Zena, if you see anybody coming, you holler, because there's no lock on the door. So, you know, and it's like the commode was here, and the door was like, wait, where Lori's at. So I sit down to use the bathroom, and I hear somebody coming. And I'm like, I hope that's Zena. I hope that's Zena. And about that time, he's whoa, 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 whoa. I was in his bathroom, using the bathroom. I went out and I said, Zena, you were supposed to tell me if anybody was coming. She said, it happened. He forgot his shaving cream or something when he was coming to that bathroom.
Okay, airport.
But that was only one bathroom store. They always swing the door open wide on her.
The best was when I was
The
at the
best
ball
one.
game.
Wait, Devin, are you
At
getting
the
this?
ball game. I was keeping the books for the whole tournament. So I was sitting behind, home plate, and I was keeping the books, and the little umpire was there, and he'd always turn around and tell me, what the count was and all that. So we got a break between the games, and I laid my book down. I ran around. I said, I've got to go to the bathroom. So I went to the porta potty, and I don't sit down on it. So I was, it wouldn't lock. I tried to lock it. It wouldn't lock. So I was holding on to the little screw, the little elastic thing that holds the door to that springs it back. So I'm holding on, and I hear somebody whistling. And then they're singing a little bit. And the umpire he swings it over. And then I had to go sit back down. And it was
He
on
didn't
fire.
pull you out.
Did you
Did you tell him, whoa, whoa, whoa?
That's my famous line.
That's pretty good. Okay.
We never made eye contact.
But you've been in lots of men's bathrooms.
Yeah, the first one I did that too was Dairy Queen in Leesville after the And I got up to go use the bathroom, and the funny thing was I went in the bathroom and I looked in the stall, there was no toilet paper, so I go all the way back out and get napkins off the table and go right back in the men's bathroom. And I'm in the stall, and I'm, I was looking, it looked funny in there, but I didn't think anything about it. So I sit down on the commode, and I'm using the bathroom, and I hear Buck say, Annette. And I said, Buck, what are you doing in the women's bathroom? He said, I'm not in the women's bathroom. You're in the men's bathroom. Watch the door, I'll be right.
That was the first time?
That was the very first time. And then it just seemed to haunt me. Followed me around. One of the funny ones, Dink, was when we were all playing ball in Lake Charles, and we were all eating at that what's the name of that?
Casa Mignana.
Casa Mignana. And so I got up to go to the bathroom, and we walked in the men's bathroom.
Yeah.
I just don't look. I don't look at the, what is this, ladies?
Oh, I do.
So I walked in the men's bathroom, and there was this little boy, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So I'm like, I am not, because I'd already done this like 4 or 5 times, so I'm like, I ain't telling nobody I did that. So I go out, and I go back in the women's bathroom, and I use the bathroom. I come out, act like nothing happened. So I go back down at the table, you know, to eat. And I don't remember if it was Petey, Rich, or Nathan, one I'm looking at, and they said, you went in the men's bathroom. And I was like, how did you know? They said, because that little boy just came running out and said, Mama, there was a woman in the men's bathroom. And they looked at each other and said, Mama. That was probably the funniest one. I don't know. I did it overseas one time too.
Now I can see you doing it overseas, maybe.
What's the sunglasses story?
Maribel's never heard that.
Oh, I had sunglasses hooked on my shirt. And I went in the bathroom to use the bathroom in the airport. And, you know, you have a little ritual when you use the bathroom. And,
No, we don't. You
well,
do.
I did. I take toilet paper and I click and then I take some more and I lay it. The girls can lay it out. And then I flush it. You know, so nothing splashes on it. So I flush it, and whenever I bent over to flush it, my sunglasses, I was like, I'm not leaving them. Dug them out, rinsed them off, put them back on my head.
Because they were expensive.
They were good sunglasses.
So, what about the wrong airport?
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was probably the saddest.
That was the best one.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was the saddest one though. When we had gone to, I
I
had
was
gone
not
on
with you.
a longer burger trip, and
Yes.
I was coming back home. We had been to Columbus, Ohio, and we were coming back home. And I was reading the Longaberger
I
book.
thought you'd been to Florida.
I don't know. No. Was it Florida?
No, I thought you were
Captiva?
going to Columbus, Ohio.
No, I was
think
coming
it was.
home.
I think it was Columbus.
I was
though.
coming home. Anyway, so I was reading the book, and I wasn't paying attention. They were saying, you know, we're fixing to, you know, land, buckle your seatbelts, all the seats in upright position, make sure your trays are up. Well, I didn't know I had to lay over or stop over or anything, so as soon as the plane stopped, I was just finishing my book, so I closed my book up, put it in my bag, and got my suitcase out, you know, and wheeled my little suitcase out, went in the airport, and I walked in the airport, and I was like, this does not look like that was in there.
Didn't see your car.
But I'm sure it is. So I walked to the window, and I looked out. I was looking at I was like, and he looked like the right parking lot. But I'm sure it is. I'm probably on the back side. That's what, I'm on the wrong side of the airport. That's what it is. So I go use the bathroom, and I come back, and I stand in front of the thing where baggage claim, and they're going around and around. I'm waiting for mine. Never comes out, so I walk over to the little guy standing at the checkout counter, and I said, y'all have lost my luggage. He said, well, ma'am, we'll find it. He said, everything will be fine. He said, what's your name? And I said, Annette Vinson. And he said, would you have your luggage tag? I said, do people really hang on to those? I don't know where people hang on to those. Do people really hang on to those? And he said, well, yes, ma'am. And I said, well, not me. Don't have a clue where that is. So he said, okay, well, spell your last name for me. So I said, V-U-S-O-N. And he looked down at the screen, and he looked back up at me. He looked back down at the screen. He looked back up at me. He said, ma'am, you were at the wrong airport. And I was like, I dropped all my stuff off me, and I was like, where am I? And he said, Columbus. I said, Ohio? Mississippi. And I was like, you have got to stop the plane. I'm at the wrong airport. So he got on the radio, and he got him to stop. They were just wheeling up the thing. So,
You had to get on there with
so I had to get back on, and my seat was yeah, they had to pull the thing back out, and he ran with me. With his little radio. Hold up! Hold the plane, on our way. So he ran and got back on the, got me on there, and everybody was staring at me. When I got back on, I was like, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention. I was saying what airport we were at. I'm sorry. There was one lone seat way back. I trolleyed back there and got my seat. So we get to Alexandria, and they unload everybody, unload everything. So I go to the luggage thing, and it goes round and around. No luggage. My luggage was not there. So I walked up to the counter, and I said, ma'am, I think I lost my luggage. And the little guy, a little soldier behind me that was on the flight said, maybe it's in Columbus, Ohio. I like smart. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's the worst one.
Story right there.
That's the worst one. Worst thing I did. Except for falling asleep in the London airport and waking up and everybody was gone. There was not one soul. When I fell asleep, there was like 100 people. And I woke up, I was like, oh! What am I going to do? So I got my ticket out and looked, and my gate was right there. And I would run into the gate, and it was the last call. They were shutting the door. Oh, I got one better than that. When was that?
What I thought you were telling.
I was gonna know. Where was I? I was meeting Buck in, I don't know, Paris or Egypt, somewhere. We were meeting, and we were talking on the phone, and he said, the last thing he said to me, it was Egypt. He said, whatever you do, when you get to the airport, Annette, stay at your gate. Don't leave. Don't leave the gate. Just stay there. And he said, you always wander around and wander off. And he said, you're gonna get lost. You know, you're gonna miss your flight one day.
You cannot miss your flight.
And if I missed it, it would be like 2 days before I could get there. And we were going on a cruise down the Nile River, like in two days after we got there. So if I missed it, I was gonna miss, you know, it would be bad. So I went and found my gate, and I was like, okay, well, my gates are here, and they had hamburgers back there. I'm just gonna walk right back, get a hamburger, and I'll come right back and wait on my flight. And so I went wandering off, and I got a hamburger, and I thought, well, I've got an hour. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat it right here. So I just people watched and ate my hamburger, got through, and then walking back to my gate, there was like 2 or 3 little shops. And I was like, oh, I want to go in there and look at that. Oh, I want to go in there and look at that. I'm like, I still got 30 minutes. So I get through doing all my little shopping, and the whole time, Buck's what he said is playing over in my head. But you know, I'm like, I'll be fine. Have plenty of time. So I get back to the gate, and I'm getting closer and closer, and there's nobody at the gate. There's nobody sitting there. Everybody is gone, and I'm like, did I set my clock? I set my watch. And I was talking out loud. I was saying, oh my gosh, they left me. Oh my gosh, I have been left. Buck is going to kill me. I mean, I was talking out loud. And I ran over to the thing, and I was like, oh gosh. And there's nothing up on the board. So I run up, and I look out the window, and the plane's still sitting there. And, you know, it was like light inside, so I couldn't really see in the plane. And I was like, beating on the window. I was like, I've got to open this door. I've got to get on this flight. Open the door. There was a panel on there, and I was just pushing buttons. I was saying, he is going to kill me. He is going to kill me. And so I ran out, and there were people walking by, and they were looking at me, and I was like, do y'all know anything about this flight? Do you see anybody? Does anybody know anything? Anybody work in the airport? Could I get some help? I was screaming. I was broke out in a sweat. I was sick to my stomach, and I was saying, and about that time, this little guy walks up and he says, "Are you waiting for the flight to fly?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, well, they moved it to gate such and such on the other side of the airport." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I started to run off. He said, "No, wait, they moved it back over here. They got it fixed, so they moved it back over here." I went and sat down. I was sick. That was probably the most horrifying time in my life. Listen, I was punching those buttons and I was thinking somebody's going to come grab me and arrest me. I can't help it. They got open. That's all I could think of. He's going to kill me because the last thing he said was,
Annette,
"Don't leave that gate."
I don't know where you were, but you called me one. You called me
Yeah.
on the phone, and you were.
I was so sick. Yeah.
She was probably an ancient.
No, I was still in the States then when I talked to you.
You called me and told me that.
Yeah.
Last thing he told me.
Do not leave the gate.
When you find your gate, don't leave it.
Tell him about the last ticket you got.
Which one?
I could tell you one, but I'd rather her tell it.
Well, I got one a little while back. I was doing a little speeding. I was doing a little speeding.
Coming back playing gospel music.
Huh?
Coming back from LA, listening to gospel.
Oh yeah, had my radio turned up. I had my gospel music going loud, and this police officer stopped me and gave me a ticket. And he made me stand outside the car for like 20 minutes in my Mary Kay suit with my heels on, and mosquitoes were eating me up. And I thought he was just gonna warn me, you know. And he came back and he had me a ticket. So he gave me the ticket, and I got it. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna take care of this. I'm not even gonna tell Buck. I'm not gonna bother him with it. I'm gonna take care of it myself. So I go the next day or two and I ask Asa, I go by Asa's office and he's not there. So I write him a little note. We went to school together. I write him a little note. Asa, is there a way you can help me with this ticket? You know, call me, let me know. So I fold it up and I put, give it to the little secretary. So I didn't tell Buck, didn't tell anybody. I'm taking care of this myself. I'm a big girl. I can take care of this. So one day, Buck goes and gets the mail and he comes back in and he opens the mail and he said, "Annette, when have you been riding a motorcycle without a helmet?" I'm like, "What?" And he said, "Well, there's a thing here that says that you got a ticket for riding a motorcycle without a helmet. When have you been on a motorcycle without a helmet?" I'm like, I do not know what to do. And I thought, we got it changed to a no motorcycle. No helmet on a motorcycle. No helmet on a motorcycle.
Oh no. That is hilarious.
So then he knew.
Why
So
not
then I
just
had
no
to tell him.
seatbelt?
I know, they say they can't do that
Why would
anymore.
they say you were on a motorcycle?
Because it's like 250 and this was just 50.
Oh.
Tell them about the time you and me got stopped on the way home from Shreveport.
In Powhatan.
In Powhatan.
Oh yeah.
Powhatan, Louisiana, got stopped. This one guy, he stopped us.
I was
and
young.
Lori was probably, you were in college, weren't you? Or were you
I
even
don't
in
know.
college?
It wasn't Paul
We had been to
Garnett.
see Daddy
Wasn't Paul
in
Garnett in the
Shreveport.
hospital? Yeah.
in Shreveport, and we were coming back, and you hit this little town called Powhatan, and it's like drops from 55 to 30 or 20. So I wasn't paying attention. We were talking, and the police officer walks up there, and he says, "Ma'am, do you realize how fast you were going?" I'm like, "No, sir. I didn't even notice what the speed limit was." So he says, "Well, you were going such and such and such and such, so I'm going to give you a ticket, unless you'd like to just go ahead and pay for it right now." He said, I can write it to you and you can pay for it now, or I can take your license and you can pay it later. And I was like, I think I'll just pay it later. And I looked up at him and I said, "Y'all fix tickets." He took about 3 steps back into the road. He said, "Ma'am." And I said, do y'all fix tickets?" And he's like, no, ma'am, we got fixed tickets. And I said, well, you just go ahead and keep my license. I'll pay it later. I thought I could get it fixed, you know. And Mr. Vinson was real good friends with Governor Edwin Edwards, and he did not even get that ticket fixed. I paid that back. And they sent me my driver's license.
And I said, Annette.
We got back on the road. She said, I can't believe you're asking that. I said, well, I just wonder. They fixed tickets.
Who do I call to get it?
She's probably thinking, I'm gonna have to drive. She's gonna get arrested.
Well, tell them about.
Good night, Martha. Aggie and I told enough on
I
myself.
just got a ticket a couple days ago. I hadn't told anybody.
Glory. Well, get it taken care of it
I was
yourself.
gonna try.
Is this like the part of the night when everybody gets drunk and just like reveals the truth about their
I
life?
said, I'm gonna take y'all's master of ceremonies here, we're going to the apple.
I think she's about told all the stories.
I've told all of
She
them.
told the one on YouTube.
Well, I'll tell you one on me about a ticket one time, this was right after, right when I was going to the Marine Corps, I was going on the buddy plan, and I got about 7 tickets in 2 weeks.
Oh, man, I never did that bad.
Ticket in front of Gibson, right there in front of Gibson, I passed a car, and the car I met was a state trooper. It was Freddie Owens, and he said, he pulled me over, he whipped around, pulled me over right there in front of the Red and White grocery store. He gave me that ticket, and I said, well, I'm gonna get this ticket tore up. He said, well, you're gonna have to get it, he said, I'm gonna ride it anyway, you can get it tore up.
You wrote it anyway. And you got it tore up? Okay, let's go. Well, I'm glad you told one on yourself.